So today we are working on my little sister's dress. She is turning 17 in a few days, and so I am making her 17th birthday dress. And so to do the base of the corset, I got this material from Walmart, which is just cotton material, and I will go ahead and start the base of her corset. I'm draping the material folded in half, so you're basically cutting two at the same time, which is so convenient because why would you be draping one side at a time, especially if it's going to be the same thing. So you just want to make sure that it's secure. I am pinning down where basically all the seams are going to be, and so you can never have too many pins unless you literally have too many pins. The fun thing about draping your corsets is that you can put your seams anywhere and you can see it in real time versus like trying to make it on the computer and not really seeing it on the actual body, which is why I like doing my corsets this way. And so you see that I started with the sides, pinning it down, and you just want to eliminate as much extra material as possible because if it looks baggy on your dress form, it will look baggy on your client. If it looks odd on your dress form, it will look odd on your client. So make sure you are eliminating all that material evenly. I like to bring down my corsets past the natural waist on the dress form, that string that goes across the waist, because naturally you want your corsets to come a little lower. That way it's not cutting into your client's stomach and making that bulge underneath their belly button. So you bring down that corset just a little bit. I like to leave at least 6 inches down from there, and then you start manipulating from there. But guys, please, no more straight cuts across these people's stomach. It don't look good. It's not flattering. And this is how it should look before you start cutting into the neckline and any type of extra shapes that you want. I went ahead and used my chalk to outline the neckline that I wanted. And you're going to see that how I go around the armhole, because ideally you want to keep those back rolls in check. And so you're going to make sure that the armhole is there and it goes up a little higher in the back. That way your client is secure and nothing is rolling out of place. And remember to leave seam allowance. I cut high enough so that I can sew it at a 1/2 inch when I am ready to put it on the machine. Always include your seam allowance. You do not want it to be too short because it's very hard to add versus just cutting it a little too high where you have to take away. And a trick that I've learned and that I've been incorporating recently to my corsets are these curves for the thighs, because a lot of my clients, they have itty bitty waists and big old booties. So I have to make sure that they're comfortable when they're sitting down. And so I like to include these little arches at the bottom of my corsets so that they have the space to, when they sit and their thighs spread, they have room to actually spread and not be confined to that corset bottom that is like poking inside of their skin and making it really hard to move. So I just finished cutting out her corset, and I just need to go ahead and cut out 2 more layers to help stiffen it. And I'm gonna put the batting on today, all the boning. And as you can see, I worked pretty fast, 12 minutes, just about, I think, 12 minutes to cut the entire corset up. And I'm gonna, well, to draft it, I should say, to draft it. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out, so that's probably gonna be another 5 minutes, so 20 minutes total to cut this corset out. I think I'm doing pretty good. So I went ahead and sewed up the lining and went ahead and did a top stitch all around the top layer and the 2 layers of Siri that I cut. That way it stabilized everything as I am sewing the seams together. Honestly, when you pick up your corset and it's not even looking like a good shape, fix it right then and there before you're adding your boning, because when you add your boning, it's only going to look worse, y'all. I use a sew through boning that is a 1/2 inch wide, and I am just sewing all the way through because I am covering it anyway, so I didn't mind the stitches showing. So her corset is coming along. You can see it here. And so I'm going to give a different point of view in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and add some caging to the underbust and to structure the middle part. And then we're going to add some batting to it to smooth it out, because I want it to be a very smooth corset. So when the fabric comes, I'm just going to drape it over it and it will be seamless. It's going to be fire, and I'm super excited. So I'm going to show the different point of view. So right now, I didn't add too much boning, just in all the seams. I'm going to go in, and we have the iron, literally pressing it out, making sure that it is nice and smooth. We're gonna take our chalk, wherever it may be, right here. Okay, so I'm gonna mark, this is where the cup, I might bring this down some. Yeah, I might bring it down a little more. Yeah, because I don't want it to be right on top. And then here, and then here, for sure. Okay, and then we're gonna do one right at this line here. Oh, that came out kind of messy. I can't see where that, where this one ended up. We need it to go like right here. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do all under here. We're gonna have one come up here, and then we'll most likely leave this by itself. Just, yeah. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Perfect. So I ended up adding some to the sides here, and then one going all the way up. It really should connect to right here. Yeah, we really want it to be up here just so that it gives the support that it needs. So we're gonna add there, and let's see if, oh, did I get it? I think I got it. Nice. Now it's time to add the batting to smooth her out because I don't want the boning to poke through to the top layer, making it bulky looking, and I want it to be very smooth. So I went ahead and added this batting in between. And so the good thing about this is that you can hand sew it and you can press it to melt it down just a little bit. Of course, you don't want to burn it, so don't go crazy with the iron, but you can put steam to it. You want to place your pins down the center seam to stabilize the material, and then you're going to go ahead and put the darts wherever you need it to be. Remember, you want it to be as smooth as possible, so don't put too many darts. And when you are sewing your darts down, you're going to cut off all the excess and sew it flat onto each other, basically allowing the darts to kiss and not necessarily overlap. I'm doing a base stitch all around the perimeter just to stabilize it. Yes, you can use your sewing machine to do this. However, the sewing machine just puts a little too much tension, and you don't necessarily need that much tension on this part. So it's just best to do a quick base stitch. No, it might not be as quick for everybody, but it does help with sewing this thing down. The corset is done. I am about to start on the skirt. So I have a skirt that I made before. I'm gonna show you guys right here. So here's a skirt that I've done before. It's a bunch of organza just gathered up and hand sewn into flowers. And so my little sister, she wanted that in a mini skirt version. So I have some organza here that I'm gonna cut into strips, gather up, and start hand sewing this. It is now Tuesday at 7, almost 8 p.m. I told my husband I was leaving out of the studio at 7:30, and that was a lie. So I will go ahead and cut these strips out tonight and begin to gather them up tomorrow, which is Wednesday, because I have to have it shipped out on Thursday. So once again, let's look at this beautiful corset, and I'm gonna show you guys the back. Love, 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 love. Right, so I'm gonna get to cutting the organza, and I'm gonna head out, and then we'll pick back up tomorrow, God willing. So I don't actually have a ruler here just yet, so we will be using this painting pamphlet to create the lines in the organza that I am using. I want the flowers to be too wide, so I'm thinking about this wide for the flowers, which is about, I was thinking about 2.5 inches for the flowers itself, and 1/2 inch for seam allowance. So I have to cut 3 inches folded on each side, so total of 6. So 6 inches folded in half, and that will be our ruffle to start gathering up. And I'm just gonna cut as many strips as I possibly can because I want it to be a nice, cute, fluffy mini skirt. Because she's only 17 and her booty don't need to be out, so. To make your flowers, you're going to go ahead and fold these strips in half now that they're all cut. And you're just going to go ahead and start gathering them up. And once they're all gathered up, I'm going to show you guys how to actually roll them to make the flower. So when you're starting out the gathering, you're going to do it on a curve and you're going to follow my fingers. Here you can see the end. I'm going to curve it right back out. That way this helps when on your flower you'll see it's more of a clean finish versus just a squared off finish. Make sure you're clipping your threads and cutting off all the excess material that is not needed. You want your garment to look as professional as you are. I'm showing you how it should be rolled, but really and truly you should do this on the dress itself because it's only going to unravel. Okay, so this is the flower, how it looks. I just have it pinned up, and keep in mind it's going to be probably like 2 rows because we're just doing a mini skirt. But it is getting late. It is now almost 8:30 and I want to go home to my man, so I'm calling it a night tonight and we'll get back to this tomorrow. But I think it looks really pretty so far. Here's a basic mini skirt. I went ahead and just manipulated my basic pattern to fit my client's measurements. And you can see I added the lace up down the back to mimic the corset. That way it's adjustable just in case she needed a little extra breathing room. And here you can see I am pinning the flower in place. That way I can just tack it down with my needle and thread, and you want to make sure that that thread is a 4 thread. That way it is nice and secure and it ain't going nowhere. No matter what happens, that thing is stuck on there. Once you're finished tacking everything down, remember to quality check these skirts with these ruffles because it's very easy to miss any pins that was holding the ruffles in place. And you definitely do not want to send that out to a client because we don't want any type of liabilities happening. So always quality check your garments. Measure a billion times if you have to. Make sure if you have to run a magnet through it, run a magnet. See what's being pulled because you don't want any hiccups. But I do love working with these ruffles because it's so easy to manipulate and fill out a space. And even though I thought I didn't have enough material, I used about 6 yards for the ruffles. I had enough and it was enough, and that lace up in the back definitely helped. My client, she is technically like a small, extra small, very petite, and it was perfect. It was a perfect fit. She had no alterations done to it and she was able to wear it to her event with no issue. Tell me what you think about this tutorial, and do you like it? Like, are you gonna try it? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.